All right, so we are here with WOW, Women Optimizing Wellness. I've got two other amazing powerhouses here, Michelle Orton and Jennifer Banks, and myself, Bex Nielsen, of course, and we are the three founding members of WOW. We're here to talk to you a little bit about that, ladies, so welcome.
Yes, wow.
That was right. So, Michelle, you do a great job with WOW and our vision. Talk to us a little bit about WOW, and then I'll throw it over to Jen, and she can talk about how we all came together.
So WOW was something that started stirring in my mind about 7 years ago. And I really love the idea of women coming together and creating a community that is only based on being a woman and how powerful it is, but optimizing every level of being a woman. So your body, your mind, your soul, relationships, business, and finances. Because us women, we do it all. But how do we optimize it? How do we make a wow? So when I met the two of you, I was like, that was the key to open this door to create this community. I saw something in both of you, and you brought something out in me, which is what we want to bring out in our community with our ladies. And so we partnered up.
Yes, we did.
And here we are. Wow.
And so Jen, the backstory.
We first met through the business community here in Daybreak, South Jordan, and we just connected over those business relationships and just really wanting to be integrated into the community and really just involve others. And we really saw a need for specifically women networking because, typically there's a lot of men in networks, and when you put women together, we're powerful. What I liked is that it's women of all ages and stages. We are really welcoming, and I felt that as a younger woman, and all ages from 19 up to 71. We even more are all welcome here.
Yeah, I love that. So we are friends outside of this, right? Jen spoke a little bit to that, and it was really neat that we did meet through a business community, and the relationship essentially started. And then we were like, hey, we have this idea of potentially maybe starting a women's networking group. And we started meeting. After the meeting, we kind of had our little brainstorm session, if you will, that turned into something we think can be just incredibly powerful, and it has been. So we started our soft launch back in January. Was it, ladies? Was that our first event?
No, September.
Did I say January?
November.
I got our launch party on the line in September.
But we are going to have a big party in January,
yes,
so you're letting it out already.
I know.
Yes.
So we started our soft launches in September, and those really took off, and we have heard incredibly impactful, powerful stories. I'll let each of you maybe share and just touch on one of those events or something that hit you in the last 3 months since we've launched this.
Yeah, I really loved the idea of a soft launch because that's the question we had was, how do we spread the word? How do we get these women connected? And so with these soft launches, they were a casual way to get together to eat dinner and to meet women from different walks of life, especially since there are three of us that brought in women from each of our different networks, and then it has grown since then. Yeah. I loved the first event where we each stood up and we said who we are, and we are more than just our roles. There's more within us than that.
I think let's expand on that. And because that's the way we started the event, that's the first question I asked everyone, who are you? And sometimes we get stuck with the labels that the world gives us or society gives us. And they're wonderful labels, but in WOW, we wanted to strip those away.
Yeah.
We really wanted to tap into that inner part, into our soul and our knowing. And I think it was a really beautiful conversation. It was this great big farm table. We all gathered around. And everyone's answer were so inspiring and so authentic. So I will just answer what I said. My answer is I am real. And what that means to me is to be very authentic in all of the choices that I make as I move forward. What was your answer that night, Bex?
Mine was I am present. It's one thing that I have tried to be really intentional this year. Intentionality was my word for 2024. We're dating this, right? Of this year. And I am a visionary. I'm a entrepreneur. I'm very much forward thinking. And so being present and in the moment sometimes can be really challenging for me. I'm an A personality, I'm a driver, I'm all of those things, right? And so being present can sometimes be hard for me. And so I was present for that moment. And I just was really taken aback from the answers that these women had, and just really opened up my heart to what do I have to give to this community and to gain, right? Because we're lifelong learners, and I just loved being in that space and being present. What was yours, Jen?
And just speaking to that variety, every time a woman spoke, you thought, oh, surely there's nothing else to say. But every time there was something new. Mine was, I am curated. And I just love kind of a combination of your two, just intentionality, being real, and just really selecting the things in your life that are most meaningful to you and make you you.
I love that.
I love that too.
Beautiful. Let's talk a little bit, because we get this question often. Who are we? What's our background? And so let's introduce ourselves a little bit. Michelle, we'll start with you.
Well, I am a master coach, speaker, business consultant, and I also perform weddings. I have been coaching for almost 19 years, and I got my certification through a program at Stanford University under BJ Fogg. It's called Tiny Habits, and our tiny little habits can create such movement and momentum in all of your life. I am just in love with my career and my clients and making changes for the good. My tagline is, you can't go over it, you can't go under it, so let's go through it together. Okay, that's not what I say. Let's go through the shit together.
That's what she said.
You might want to beat that, but it's true. We all have to go through it. And that's another reason why I wanted to build this community. I want us to go through it together, because there's strength in numbers, and we are meant as people to gather together to tell our stories. It bonds us, it connects us, and it drives a movement. And we need that in our family, in our neighborhoods, in our community, and across the country.
I am going to just say two things. I never let her forget this. She's a TEDx speaker. She always forgets that. So she was a TEDx speaker as well. And another thing that I do love to say about Michelle is, which I've kind of taken on as my own motto, I stole it from you, is lead with love. So that when she says that, she even has that tattooed, lead with love, on her body. So we kind of incorporated that into our motto and vision too. So she is amazing. Absolutely love you, Michelle. So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, I forget to mention my TEDx, and it was an honor to grace that stage. And it was a privilege, because I did not have to try out for TEDx. I was invited. It was a women's event about overcoming trauma in your life. And it was a really pivotal point. That talk was to tell my story from my childhood and to change that fabric and that thread. So thank you for breaking it up.
She's going to always get the ring.
I'm humbled that I was a part of that experience, and I do have that title. I am a TEDx speaker.
TEDx speaker over there. All right, Jen, I know it can sometimes be really hard to talk about ourselves, but you are on the spot next.
Yes.
Well, especially after Michelle. I'm Jen Banks. I have 3 little boys, so I am a boy mom. They're just little, but I believe in being a mom, and I wrote a book called Let Yourself Bloom that came out just this year, 2024.
Let's celebrate that. It's a huge accomplishment.
Especially while my kids are little. And that's what I believe. You don't have to sacrifice one or the other. You can nurture your children and nurture your dreams. And so here I am, an example of that. And was just barely arranging childcare so I could be here for this episode.
She did. She pulled it together.
Right. But I am a teacher. I am a speaker. I play the violin. What else do I do? I just really love women and connection. That's my highest value. And so when I have an opportunity to connect at a deeper level, whether it's a large event or at a smaller scale, that's really what fills my cup, is connection.
Yeah, I love that. And Jen really is a powerhouse. We have seen her book, Let Yourself Bloom, and she really is the epitome of doing that over the last, have I known you 2 years now? or close to see her bloom as well over this. So you're amazing at what you do. So thank you. And then I guess I will introduce myself.
Bring it on.
I hate talking about myself, and I also hate when my eyelashes stick together, but here we are, right? So
Real life.
real life. But who am I? So Bex I've got a lot of layers. I'm like an onion, right? From Shrek. Not a parfait, not a cake. But yeah, I've got a lot of layers, a lot of titles. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a sister, a daughter. I am a real estate agent. I am a retired ER nurse. I've held a lot of roles in my life and still continue to do so. I am on a Radio Daybreak podcast with my partner, Just Blaine, which has been awesome, being the voice and the face of the community of Daybreak. I do a lot of my business out here, which has been a lot of fun. I also helped found and am involved in Daybreak Business Community. So there's a lot that I do, but I think I'm still, figuring out who is Bex under all of that. And I think it's a journey, which has been fun, and which is part of the reason that I joined WOW is, who Bex was in my 20s and 30s and moving into this season in my 40s. It has evolved and changed, and that's the beauty of this beautiful magic thing that we call life. So a lot of roles that I've played, but it's, bits and pieces that all make up who I am. So there you go.
I think in so many elements that you layered your life so well, and all of those titles are so important and beautiful, but we're always evolving.
Yeah.
We're always changing. And that's what humans are supposed to do.
Yeah.
We're supposed to change. We're supposed to adapt and overcome. So adding something else, sometimes we're so afraid to add something else, but maybe that's the piece that's going to shift something else and make spinning those plates a little bit easier. So joining a community like WOW is sometimes the answer when you're like, I can't put something else on my table because I'm a young mom with young kids, or I'm in the middle of a busy career, or where I'm more at the end of my career. I'm in my mid-50s and we have our early 30s and our mid-40s. I'm sorry, I'm throwing you out.
Oh, no.
But this is what it is, that we're not our 20s, 30s, 40s. And I agree, she has bloomed.
Oh, huge.
It's been such a beautiful to see her come to life. And the same thing with you. All of these layers that are coming out, I think they're coming out is because you're around people who bring out the best in you.
Yes.
And that's really what I think this community does, and what our friendship has done.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's kind of an experiment. You do want to figure out where you want to focus your energy or your interests or things like that. And so you do have to try the things in order to know.
Yes. And it's so important that we do that. And then I think it's important that we create a space. And that's something that I think our last event that's really standing out is the stories. Stories connect people on such a deeper level. And that's one thing that WOW has really done is every single month we bring in a speaker who's going to tell their story. And from the beginning of time, when people have gathered around a campfire or wrote the stories on cave walls, it's because they want this connection, and every story is important and deserves to be heard. And last month's story was so powerful. It was Carrie Butler. She's phenomenal. And if you missed out on the event, that's why we're going to have more. Yeah. And we're going to have more great speakers. Let's talk about maybe our speaker that's coming up
Jen,
next month, Jen.
Introduce her?
Yeah. Next month we have Mary Crafts coming to speak for us. She'll be the keynote at our launch party. She was a very successful woman who had a catering company, and now she is a motivational speaker. She has gone through so many things in her life that have just really added the richness to her experiences and her wisdom. She went through a huge weight loss journey. She escaped a traumatic or abusive relationship, and really just has exercised her mental capabilities and so much more, that her story is just inspiring and funny and motivational. So she's not one to miss.
If you don't know Mary, you're going to want to be there. The date for that is January 27th, Monday, January 27th, beginning at 6 p.m. We are going to have food, a band. What else are we doing? Surprise raffle draws,
Charities. We're going to have give back to the community.
It's going to be huge.
It's going to be big.
If you're like, Bex, you didn't mention location. I know. We are figuring that out. It will be somewhere here in the South Valley area. More details on that to follow. Continue to follow us here on social media, and we will be sure to get the word out on location.
Yeah, it's going to be a big launch party.
Yes.
Absolutely.
What else did you have to add to that, Jen?
Just a woman's night out that you won't want to miss. Even if you're maybe unsure of, you might not know many people, there will be people to meet and people to help you feel comfortable.
Completely. So let's give them that date again, Jen, if you don't mind.
January 27th, the last Monday of the month at 6 p.m.
Perfect. What else do we want to shout out before we jump off this podcast today, you guys? Anything else or any other top of mind things that we wanted to mention about WOW or common questions that we get?
Yeah, I know a common question that I get is, how can I be more involved? How can I participate in this? How can I receive updates? Our website will be launching soon where you can opt into those emails.
Okay.
And then also there will be a place where you can apply to be a sponsor or a speaker at a future event.
Yes. So if you have a great story or something that you want to add to our community, something that's unique to you, message us, please. Feel free. Yes, we want everyone to be involved and share the story and community and foster those kind of relationships. Do you have anything, Bex?
I think lastly, the only thing to add is, as women, we have a lot of roles. We are so busy, but mark your calendars. The WOW events will be on the last Monday of the month, beginning at 6 p.m. Particularly mark your calendars for the hard launch date, which is Monday, January 27th at 6 p.m. The location is to be announced.
See you there.
See you there.